Yo, welcome to another episode of Empire Jeff TV. I am your host, Empire Jeff, coming to you on a Monday night live from Los Angeles, California, home of your 2025 back-to-back World Series champion, Los Angeles Dodgers, baby. Now, I've not been on here live since the World Series started because, one, I was busy, and two, I was a whole hot mess during that World Series. I was so caught up in just being a fan and watching it, I didn't do a whole lot of live during that time. So appreciate y'all tuning in, man. What a World Series that was. And we have all off season to talk about it, but we also have all off season to talk about the potential free agent moves or trades or everything that is the MLB off season. So we're going to talk about a lot of players. We're going to talk about people coming. We're going to talk about people going. We're going to talk about trades. We're going to talk about signings. We could talk about prospects. We could talk about future moves, pretty much everything throughout this offseason. But tonight's episode is going to be on a guy that the Dodgers have almost gotten a couple of times. Now, I did a show back, I want to say in late June, early July, and I was telling you guys that the Dodgers had zeroed in on Cleveland as their natural trade partner, and there were multiple players that could be on the way to the Dodgers via Cleveland. Now, at the time, the main piece of that trade was Class A. It was going to be Emmanuel Class A. He was the guy the Dodgers had been zeroed in on for a while. They've been going after him, I want to say, since the trade deadline of 2023, I think it was. But the offseason of 2023, the offseason of 2024, they had been going after Class A for years. And it got to a point where they really felt like they were going to get him. And it came down to who was going to be that other guy in that deal. Was it going to be Kwan or was it going to be Ramirez? Because they didn't really know what was going to go on with Muncy. He had multiple injuries last year. They weren't sure if he was going to make it back or be effective, which led them to really consider Ramirez. But it was going to be very pricey to get both Kwan and Ramirez. But the Dodgers had the farm system to get it done. It just was a matter of what were they going to offer and were they willing to pay the price? The Dodgers, from what I've heard at the time, were pretty much at the 10-yard line on that deal. And it was a framework was in place. Both teams were happy and something was going to happen. Now, I don't know if that meant that when they got to the 10-yard line, if it was Clase and Kwan or if it was Clase and Ramirez. I don't know about that. However, when the scandal with Clase went down, it pretty much blew up that trade. And so that's why when I did my video at the trade deadline, I told you guys the Dodgers had something big in play, but it fell apart there. And they were pretty much all invested in that. When it didn't happen, they went with a couple smaller moves and pretty much punted on the trade deadline. So they have been trying to get Kwan in one way, shape, or form, or Clase for a while. Clase is gone. He's out of baseball. And here's Stephen Kwan sitting there right now as a guy that the Dodgers could potentially trade for. And he is elite defensively in left field. Left field. All right, we're going to talk about this more. He's also a very good disciplined bat, makes a ton of contact, does not strike out a lot, does not hit for a lot of power, but he's a tough out on the bases. He's a tough out in the plate. He can get on. He can draw walks. He does not hit a ton for power, but the Dodgers definitely have a ton of guys that can. So you need a guy like a Steven Kwan. You need a contact guy in there who can be your contact guy, not necessarily your power guy, and a guy that can play elite defense, but again, in left field. Now, the whole purpose of this video essentially is how this can go wrong for a lot of Dodger fans and their expectations. And the reason I say that is to say this. If they get Steven Kwan, this does not mean he goes to right field and Teo goes to left. Matter of fact, it's probably all but no way that he goes to right field and Teo goes to left. Teo's not going back to left. All right. And I'm going to break this down for you guys why. Steven Kwan, if they do acquire him, is not going to be traded to go to right. And I'm going to tell you this. I've been kind of telling people this all season, and no one really wanted to listen. But I'm here to tell you, and you guys really need to do your own research on this. But Teoscar Hernandez had his worst season of his career in 2024 in left field. 2024, he was worse in 2024 than he was in 2025. I can also tell you that Teoscar Hernandez played 60 games in right field in 2024 and didn't have a single error. He was better in right field in 2024 than he was in left field in 2024. And he was better in right field all of 2025 than he was in 2024 in left field. Now, I know he had some errors. There were things, and they were kind of like the ones that got magnified. But Teoscar Hernandez's natural position is right field, and he plays better in right than he does in left. There's no metric that says otherwise. There just isn't. And ideally, he's not great in the outfield at all. Ideally, he's someone's DH. But unfortunately, when you have Shohei Ohtani, you got to put him in the field. And Teoscar Hernandez is not going to go back to left because he's worse in left. You can argue that he's bad in right because he is, but he was worse in left. And we know for sure we can't put him in center, right? So let's get to that portion with Steven Kwan. Steven Kwan has played all three outfield positions. He has played majority in left field. He has played some center. He has played some right. He has played right field the least amount of his career. And defensively, he is the least impactful in right field. He is far and away his best in left field. So the Dodgers will not trade for him just to move him to right, where he's less productive, just to put Teo back in left, where he's less productive, just to make fans happy. It's not going to happen. All right. It's not going to happen. Teo is not going back to left. I don't think so. If he does, it's because they just got a surefire right fielder or center fielder and they got to make it work. But outside of that, Teo and left is not the answer because he was worse there in 2024 than he was in right in 2025. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of Dodger fans because they stick to the narratives, but the facts are the facts. The numbers are the numbers. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And the numbers scream like these dogs who are always barking outside of my window here, scream that Teoscar is worse in left than he is in right, and that's just a fact. So Stephen Kwan would be a very interesting addition to this team, but at the cost is what the concern is. What would it cost to get a Stephen Kwan? Is that going to cost you a Dalton Rushing and a River Ryan? Because I think that's a little pricey. Is it going to cost you one of your top tier prospects to get a guy like Stephen Kwan? And if it is, I don't know if the Dodgers are willing to go to that level and pay that money for Stephen Kwan. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Is that something that you want to do? Do you want to give up a top prospect for Stephen Kwan, or do you want to hold off to those for a potential rental of someone more major? Now, I don't think the Dodgers will trade for Skubal, but let's say if the Tigers keep him until the trade deadline. There's no extension worked out, and then they decide to trade for him, and maybe the price has dipped a little bit because it's a rental, and maybe you have to give up those guys to get someone like him. But, however, I don't think they do that. I also don't think that they go out there and really dump those top prospects for anyone other than a top-tier talent. And I'm just going to throw names out there that I'm not saying they're going to trade for, but what I'm saying the Dodgers are probably holding off guys for. Someone like a Paul Skeens. Like if they did do that for a Tarek Skubal, would have to be because it came with an extension. I don't think they're going to empty the clip of their minor leagues to get a guy as a rental. I don't see them doing that. But I don't know if they give up their top guys for someone like a Steven Kwan. I just don't know if that's realistic. And there's a bunch of other guys on my list that we can go down on, go down the list on, because it's when we're sitting here talking about guys that they probably got to get, who make contact, who don't hit for a lot of power, and because of that probably won't break the bank. There's multiple guys in that kind of ilk, right, that you could kind of go after that might not break the bank. There's some more expensive than the others. So you talk about like a Steven Kwan, a Luis Arraez, a Bo Bichette, like, these guys. Bo Bichette probably going to be the most expensive of the group of anyone you go after that's contact with a little bit of power, not great defensively. I think the Dodgers would like to get someone who's solid to great defensively, but very good with contact. And when you look around MLB, the guy that fits kind of all that, who doesn't strike out a lot, puts the ball in play, makes a lot of contact, and he's elite defensively, that's Steven Kwan. Because Bo Bichette is not even good defensively, let alone elite. And Luis Arraez is not very good defensively, no matter where you play him. He's just not that good defensively. He can get a bunch of singles, and I think he would be a nice addition batting like late in the lineup or leadoff ahead of Ohtani. Unfortunately, it's just you got really nowhere to put him defensively where he doesn't kill you. He's terrible at second. He's terrible at third. He's terrible at short. He's terrible in the outfield. The only place where he's somewhat you can kind of hide him is first base, and you got Freddie there. So the more I think and dig on that, I think Steven Kwan is the guy, because he's the guy you don't have to hide defensively. You're already hiding Teo, and you don't have to hide him defensively, and he brings all the qualities you want in a bat for the Dodgers that have all the sluggers and all the guys with power. So Steven Kwan would be a really, really good addition to this Dodger team. Just a matter of what will it cost for them to get him. So that's kind of where it is with him. I know that, they added Ward to the 40-man roster. I don't know if they quote unquote learned a lesson from the Michael Busch situation. I just, he was blocked and they know where to go, and they kind of moved on from him. So Ward might be a guy that's kind of like that. I believe he had 37 home runs in AAA last year. He's a guy that can hit for power. But Steven Kwan, man, I think he has 2 more years of club control. So I think he becomes an actual unrestricted free agent in 2028. So you could get him now. It would be pricey. 2 more years of club control. Then you could extend him or whatnot, and he could lock down left field for you as long as he's productive for the next 7-8 years. If you make a move for him. So let me know what you guys think. Is this a move you guys want? Even though it does not mean that he goes to another position and Teo goes to left, because that's pretty much not going to happen. Like I said, it's probably not going to happen. There's a very strong chance that Teoscar Hernandez is the starting right fielder for the Dodgers next year. And none of us love that defensively, but you got to hide him somewhere. And he sucks the least in right field, contrary to what many people believe. So hope everyone's doing well again. Once again, I'm Empire Jeff. This is Empire Jeff TV. We're here to talk the Los Angeles Dodgers off-season moves here, with Steven Kwan being one of the first names we're going to talk about. There's a lot of guys on the list for the Dodgers, man. There's a lot of guys. We'll go over it. Like, there's a lot of guys. We're talking about the bullpen. I think Fairbanks is a real strong possibility. He has Dodgers written all over him. The Tampa Bay Rays deciding to not pick up his $11 million option for a closer, a good closer at that. He fits all the DNA of what the Dodgers might be looking for as a right-handed reliever. And the fact that he basically got an $11 million option declined, and he can come over here and be a right-handed arm out of the pen. I legitimately believe that Tanner Scott is going to have a very strong bounce-back year. I believe that's going to happen. If you've got someone like a Fairbanks, you got someone like a Tanner Scott, you add someone else in there, and we'll see, how that goes. Like, the more I talk about Devin Williams, the more I just believe he's going to stay a Yankee. I think the Dodgers will have conversations with him, But he's going to Knick games with Aaron Judge. He's around his Yankee teammates. He's doing the total opposite of what Soto did when he dipped. Now, things could go wrong. The Yankees may not offer the money he wants or the length or whatever it is. I think there's a chance that Devin Williams could be a guy that the Dodgers have conversations with. But I feel right now that he stays a Yankee. But we'll see how that goes. Doesn't mean the Dodgers are out of it. I mean, we'll see what the Yankees do. But I feel that he stays a Yankee. It would be nice if he became a Dodger. They've been linked to him forever, but I just don't know if that happens. But, you know, I've also done videos talking about Kenley Jansen, which I know a lot of people aren't open to. I'm not necessarily him either, but he's just a name on the list that's going to come up again. The Dodgers are not going to go get a closer. The Dodgers don't really operate as a team that uses a traditional closer. They go situational. You'll have a right-handed guy. You'll have a left-handed guy. Your setup guy, your 6th or 7th inning guy can end up closing a couple times a year. So it was, we'll see who they go after and who they actually land. But I think Fairbanks is a real possibility. Even if they get someone like a Williams, even if they get someone else, I think Fairbanks, just because of the money that he got not picked up from the other team, I can see the Dodgers getting a couple righties. So I think Fairbanks would probably be the strongest one. I would say the ones with the highest probability that they will get. I would say Williams is probably 30 to 70 not coming. And we'll see like who the others are. I think Kenley Jansen is like a 20 to 80 not coming. So I also think that the Dodgers will look to do things a lot via trade. Free agency is there. But I also think they're going to have to get some guys off the 40-man roster in order to make, move from other guys. So I think trades will happen. And there's going to be a portion where I've talked about this too. I don't know how owners are going to spend this offseason with what's lurking potentially next offseason. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if there's going to be a lockout. We don't know how long that lockout's going to be. We don't know any of that. So how will some of these owners operate on the eve of a potential lockout? So that could change some things. Now, players don't get paid during the lockout. So if they sign someone to 3 years, they only pay them up until the lockout happens. They won't pay the players during the lockout, but it's really not about paying the players. It's the structure of the league coming out of the lockout and how will your books look. So some of these teams might want to go into this lockout with books a little clean coming out of it so they can adapt to the new rules without having to dump salary. So there's kind of different perspectives. I've talked to a lot of people at that. I've done a few videos on this. I don't know yet how spending is going to go this offseason, including the Dodgers. I don't know how it's going to go. But I do know the Dodgers have about $90 million coming off their books, which is crazy. When you talk about Kershaw, when you talk about Conforto, when you talk about Kirby Yates, you're talking about guys whose money is coming off their books and guys they're really not depending on, right? So that's an additional $90 million. I think it's like $87 million coming off their payroll that they can now roll into the offseason without adding to their payroll. So it's just crazy. Smart money, right? So they do these fill gap contracts. So they didn't go and get a guy for 3, 4, 5 years last year. Conforto didn't work, but it was a one and done, right? Kirby Yates didn't work, but it's a one and done. So it worked out for them as far as the money. Didn't work out for the player during the season, but it worked out money-wise. So when it comes to the Dodgers and how they spend, I legitimately do not know how they will, but I'm confident at least that they're going to go ahead and they're going to spend that $87 million that's coming off their books, because I don't think for a second that they're just going to pocket that money. I think they're going to spend that and more. I just don't know yet to what extent. So again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure, if you guys haven't done so already, to get your championship merch, as well as all MLB, NBA, NFL gear, and more. Make sure to use our link at Fanatics to get special discounts on your purchase. Also helps support the channel. So whether you order through Fanatics directly or through us, it helps us out by tapping this link. And like I said, your order experience does not change. The only thing that changes is that Fanatics hooks us up for us sending you over there. So all your Dodger World Series merch, championship merch, just regular merch, your NFL gear, your Lakers or other NBA gear, go ahead and get that over there at Fanatics. Also, as you can see over the shoulder, I got my Mookie Betts picture here. I still got the plastic on it because I haven't hung it up. But that's a tremendous work there by my guy, Chris, over at Drip Show. I've got multiple pieces of art that I've got to put up. I just got to rearrange my setting here because I got this mirror and a bookshelf behind me. You can't really see it when I put it up. So there's a shout out to that Mookie picture behind me. This show is once again always brought to you by Drip Show. Make sure to go follow Drip Show on IG, on TikTok, on Twitter X, everywhere. Hit my guy up for all the work that he is doing. Fire work, man. The best you will find anywhere for these designs. You'll see other content creators, other shows pushing his work out there too. A lot of people have I've been blessed by Drip Show with the artwork. So you can see it's not just me saying it. Excuse me. It's not just me saying it. The world knows Drip Show is it, man. Incredible quality work. Make sure to go get yours. Hit up my guy Chris over at Drip Show, the best in the business. All right, let me get to some of your comments here. Sorry for the long run on here. I think I've been talking about 20-something minutes. I appreciate y'all for waiting. Dan Inspiration, what's going on, my guy? Said only trade for Kwan if he plays center field. So I'm just getting your comment, but I touched on that a bit. I don't see that happening. He has not played a ton of center field, and he's not as good in center field as he is in left field. Speaking of Drip Show, there he is. What's going on, my brother Chris? Appreciate you, man. I love my girlfriend or something. That's a great name. Do you think the Dodgers can sign or trade for Skubal? Well, they can't trade for him right now, but they could, they can't sign for him right now, but they can trade for him. And I don't know if they're going to. That's going to be very pricey, very hefty, and it would deplete like the top end of their farm system. And I don't think they're going to do it because he doesn't necessarily fit a need right now. And he's probably going to command anywhere between $350 to $450 million in free agency. And I don't really think the Dodgers need to do that right now. I think the Dodgers would wait until a potential Paul Skeens trade can happen if they're going to empty the clip. Younger, can be a top tier guy for the Dodgers for the next 10 years. So I think if they're going to empty the clip for a pitcher, I think they sit back and wait for that situation to unfold. Let's see. What's going on, Andreas? Appreciate you for pulling up. Again, what's going on the Drip Show? Back to back. Absolutely. Class A, we dodged a bullet. Yeah, Dead Inspiration. We absolutely dodged a bullet there. And it's funny because we dodged a bullet because the Dodgers were trying to get him for 2 years. And the time that and when it came to the time of them actually about to get him, the scandal hit. And that is crazy. Imagine they trade for him, and then a couple months later, the scandal hits, and the Dodgers are absolutely stuck with Emmanuel Class A, with the drama that came with that. So the Dodgers you're absolutely right there. Absolutely dodged a bullet, and they got lucky that this happened prior to a trade. Ozzy says, I love Bellinger, but I don't want him back. I would prefer Kwan by a long shot and feel like he could really help the team out. Oh, yeah, Ozzy. I would like Belly back on like a 1+1. Nothing more than that, but I would take Kwan over Bellinger, 10 out of 10. Belly's older, already showing decline defensively. We've already seen the decline offensively. It's a great story. It's a great narrative, but I don't think he makes us better than Steven Kwan does. Just my personal opinion. Now, Belly's more versatile. He can play all three outfield positions. He can play first, but give me Steven Kwan. I think what he brings to the table is what the actual Dodgers need. Is actually what they need. Appreciate your Drip Show. Let's see. That Inspiration said Tail needs to be in left. Okay, I spent a long time talking about that. Back to Tristan. What's going on, Joseph? What's going on, Joe? Let's see. That Inspiration says, honestly, we have Alex Call, doesn't strike out often, plays outfield, and they better re-sign Kike. So having Kwan, they will have too many outfielders. Unless a trade. Again, I would much rather have Steven Kwan than Alex Call. Alex Call is an all right bench guy. He's not a guy you want playing probably. I don't know. You don't want him starting much, right? He's just there as a fill-in guy. He's not a guy that I think you're going to really count on a lot. He's okay, but he's a bench guy. And if I could have Steven Kwan or Alex Call, that's 100 out of 100 Steven Kwan for sure. Don't care. What's going on? Don't care. Appreciate you, brother. What's up, Jeff? Pa is messing up Class A bets. Yeah, I saw that. Pa is out there swinging at nonsense. Actually, got Class A caught up, man. That was craziness. Leave it to Andy Pajes to get out there and swing at nonsense that leads to something, man. What's going on, Young Yi? 2026 will be Max Muncy's last year. Should Dodgers bring Murakami? Well, I don't know if it'll be his last year. It'll just probably be his last year getting $10 million or more and being a starter, depending how he plays. Murakami, I just don't see it. He strikes out way too much. He's not very good defensively. They don't really have a place to put him. So I would say no. We have to really see what he turns out. It's going to be kind of a mystery here to what he's going to be. But I think the Dodgers pass on him. What's going on, Craig? When we'll start signing players? When they agree to terms with players that they want. So typically, you don't really see people of real impact really start signing until after Thanksgiving. The Dodgers got Blake Snell on Thanksgiving last year. So as we get in a couple of weeks here, I think you'll start to see it. Guys are meeting with teams and stuff like that. It's not like the NBA where the first day of free agency things pop off and get crazy, and you really got to have your roster almost filled out within the first 10 days. That's not how MLB works. So I could probably see in the next 2 to 3 weeks where we'll start seeing some of these actions. Dan Inspiration says Devin Williams. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about him. I wouldn't mind it. I just feel right now, from what I'm hearing, it looks like Yankees, but that could change. That could absolutely change. What's going on, Hepatitis? See you later. Schoolboy, Kyle Tucker, Devin Williams is what Friedman is cooking right now. Those are all 3 names that will absolutely be linked to the Dodgers. I'm not paying Kyle Tucker $400 million, man. I just can't do it. Yeah, you guys think he's worth that? You guys really think he's worth that? I know it's not our money. I know the Dodgers print money, but there's going to be a point where with his Mookie salary and some of these salaries are going to start hurting later down the line. And I don't know, man. I understand he's younger, and I understand he's probably got 7 or 8 good years in him. But I don't know. Is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to perform? I don't know about that right now. And again, I've talked about Tucker. I've talked about Scooble, and I've talked about Williams. Williams was depressed in his press conference and he thought he was going to the Dodgers. So he was shocked. He did think he was going to the Dodgers. And kind of like the Lakers thing, right? Luka looked a little shocked and depressed in his first Laker press conference, but now look at him, right? I still would bet that he's going back to the Yankees, but we'll see. If we get Schoolboy, it's game over. Oh, for sure, Dan. Oh, for sure. Yankees fans are not happy with Devin. I hear you, but Yankees, like Dodgers, don't make moves based off of what fans think. We're fans. We don't have any decision, and we do not alter their thinking one bit. Kenley is cool, but he wants to close for his Hall of Fame case, so pass on Kenley. Yeah, if he wants to be a closer, no, but then I'm not doing it. And the Dodgers won't either. Say, Jeff, I think the lockout and a chance at three-peat will make the Dodgers break their own self-imposed rules again. Yeah, maybe. And again, depending on what we think some of these teams are going to spend, right? The Dodgers may have some guys fall in their lap, because if teams aren't going to give out there and give a Kyle Tucker a 10 to 12-year deal in the offseason prior to a lockout, then maybe he takes a shorter high AAV deal with the Dodgers. Like I've talked about that for a couple of weeks. I don't think the Dodgers go the longest term deal for him, but I think they'll go highest money per year on a, I don't know, maybe 3-4 year deal. And if he, takes that, maybe there's opt-outs after year 1 or 2 or something like that. And then maybe he takes that. But I don't expect the Dodgers to be involved if it goes past like 7-8 years. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. Drip Show says Dodgers should get the three-peat and get rest in the lockout. Oh, facts. Craig says Dodgers went for starting pitching last year to help the bullpen. This season weakness is defense, team speed, and lack of youth. Yeah, they got to get a little bit younger. They got to get the defense better, and they got to shore up the bullpen. I think they got enough guys coming back that I'm confident in, but they got to replace some of the guys they got that didn't work out for them. 1-year contracts are the best, for sure. Don't care, for sure. Kwan is only a left fielder, being a great defender in left field, but being a noodle bat with no pop is not enough to make up for it, in my opinion. Well, again, he's a contact guy, and they're going to need some of that. They need some guys to get on base ahead of Ohtani, Mookie, Freeman, and all those guys. So if you got Steven Kwan batting at the back end of your lineup, then that's a pretty solid. If your 7, 8, 9 guy is, Pages, Edman, Kwan, then you've got a pretty strong bottom 3 to your lineup there. And the contact that he does, and he is absolutely elite in left field. And yeah, I don't believe he's going to play any other position in left field. I take Bellinger over Kwan, even when analyzing the player alone and no contracts or anything. I wouldn't do that. I don't know if Belly can perform in LA anymore. He just wasn't able to anymore. Alex calls exactly the same as Kwan. Metrically, Kwan is so over. No, I would take Stephen Kwan. I think every GM in MLB would take Kwan over Call. 10 out of 10. Bellinger has more power and had a similar batting average to Kwan. What was supposed to be Kwan's biggest strength? Kwan had what could potentially be a reason why the Dodgers may be able to get him for less. He had a lesser 2025 than he did 2024 for sure. He did not have a great year last year. He kind of had a step back year. So if he's able to, you put him in this Dodger lineup, and I think that only goes up. And so I think someone like a Stephen Kwan can come into this Dodger lineup and really, really have a career year. And kind of like we saw with Teo when he came here his first year. I don't think his bombs are going to go up, but I think his average will go up. I think he will play better, and they really need his defensive versatility out there in left field. When's Mark Walter cleaning house with the Lakers? Not for a while. Not for a while. Genie still runs the show. Still Rob there. He bought the brand. He's basically going to do what he's been doing. Be their cash flow. And I'm sure they'll have to run big spending by him. And I think he'll, be in charge of kind of the resources. But I think when it comes to the actual product on the court, that's still Rob and that's still Genie for the foreseeable future. I'd give Tucker $300 million. See, that's kind of where my ceiling would be. So I agree with you. I wouldn't go north of $300 million for him. It's not my money, but anything other than that, I think you're playing with fire. And how long till the Lakers get a Guggenheim patch? That's true too. Seeing Kershaw in the World Series, bro, looked like he was retired a year already. He had that Jock Peterson diet. Yeah, man, he was pretty much done. He figured that, look, I just got to get through the regular season, give them some help. And he had a great regular season for him. If not for Kershaw, he gave us way more this season than we thought that he would in a starting role. Dan Inspiration said, what % do you think we get Bo Bichette and for how much? You know what? That's a good question because I can't call that. I can't call it. I've talked to different people who kind of have different perspectives on it. There's people who think we really have a shot at it, and there's people who think we have no shot at it. There's people that I've talked to who think that there's no way in the hell the Blue Jays would allow him to leave to the team that beat them in the World Series, that they just wouldn't happen. The Blue Jays are focused on getting back to the World Series to rematch with the Dodgers. I don't necessarily know if that's possible, but I think it would be hard for the Dodgers to outbid Toronto for Bo Bichette. He's going to have to really want to come here, and I don't know if he would want to leave what he's got going there to come here, but he might. But I've heard different takes on that. I really can't call it. I can't get a good feel. I would say 65-35 staying in Toronto right now. Will Gratterall and Phillips be back healthy in 2026? Yes, Gratterall should be back at the beginning of the season. Phillips remains to be seen. He had Tommy John early in the season, but all expectations is that he will be gearing up for spring training and seeing how the ramp up goes. Newt Barr has louder and better metrics. I take a chance on him. Not saying we have to have a bunch of Joey Gallos, but power in October and every spot in the lineup is the best. Oh yeah, I'm a slug guy. I'm a slug guy for sure. But it would be nice to get some guys on base ahead of the sluggers when the Dodgers struggle with that sometimes, or they get guys on and can't cash them in, right? So I just think that what he brings to the table is exactly what the Dodgers are lacking in every non-power hitter. Do you think Teoscar Ferreira is injured? They talked about a groin injury. Hernandez, yeah. I believe that Teo had lingering issues all season. And, Teo got off to a great him and Tommy Edman had similar starts and ends to the season. Teo and Edman were getting off to better 2025 starts than they had in 2024. They were both putting up MVP numbers to start the season. Then they both got injured and they never really got back to it offensively. I think that potentially turns around next year. They're both a little bit older, Teo being older. But I still think Teo has a chance to get north of 30 homers, and I believe that his WAR and all his power metrics and all that will go back up closer to 2024 than it was in 2025. And again, like his defensive metrics actually improved in 2025. What fell down and what fell apart was his offensive metrics. And I think if Teo can get closer to 2024 Teo at the plate, I think that, kind of overcomes the defensive liability when you try to hide him in right field. Let's see. Party, what's going on, Party? Why am I getting a feeling Dodgers might actually need another frontline starter next year, even if it's for 1 year? When it's school will be worth it. Load up on pitching and spend for bats. I mean, of course, it would be worth it. I would never sit up here and tell you that it's a hard pass on trading for Schoolboy. I would never say that. I just don't think the Dodgers would be the team that offers the most for him. So now, again, going into a lockout and teams not knowing what they're going to be spending and trading for him without an extension, that muddies the waters a little bit here. So we'll have to wait and see. But I would trade for Schoolboy. I just don't think the Dodgers are going to empty the farm for him because he's not the top need. I really like that prospect Ward from the Dodgers, but is he going to be traded or what's going to happen? He might get traded. And I know, when he got added to the 40-man roster, that pretty much told me that they did not want him entering minor league free agency, and they didn't want him to be able to enter the Rule 5 draft. So they wanted to keep him, which is why they released Dean, they released Goslin, they released some of these guys to make room for him. Also to pick up the option on Muncy. To do these things, they had to release some of the guys. And they didn't want to lose him for nothing. So could he be traded? Sure, but we'll see how that works. I pray for a Tanner Scott bounce back year since we're stuck with him for a couple of years. You know what? I am all but certain, and I could be 100% wrong, and maybe I am, but I am 100% certain that Tanner Scott is going to have a bounce back year, and he's going to look like the Tanner Scott that we all hoped we were getting when we signed him. I really, really believe that. We say I would be nice last year of his deal, but I don't know if Chicago would deal him, potentially losing Tucker. You talk about Suzuki. I can see that. Teoscar was the main source of power outside of Ohtani this playoff run. I loved what he gave us this season, even in a down year. Me too. Oh, me too. What are we going to do with Bobby Miller? Will he become Michael Grove and just get let go eventually? He might, but from what I've heard for the last 6 to 8 months now, is that teams still would trade for him. So if there's a move that gets made, and I was on, shout out to Incline. I was on an Incline podcast the other day, and one of the things that they brought up over there was that they had heard, and I heard this as well, that St. Louis has always had interest in Bobby Miller. So if there's a, Helsley or something like that, there's a move that you go out and get, or if it's Donaldson, if you go out and get someone from St. Louis, Bobby Miller can be a piece in that trade because St. Louis has a lot of interest in him. Would you sign Shada? Or again, I think Shada's going to get roughly between 15 and 18 mil. So I don't know if the Dodgers do that, maybe on a 1-year deal. Let's see. MLG Cat, what's going on, man? Should we expect more than one bat this offseason with how the offense sent bad records in the regular and postseason? Man, Muncie's back. Mookie's obviously going to be back. I think Miggy obviously back. Edmund back. Freddie back. Will Smith back. I don't know where these bats are going to come from, right? I don't know where these bats are going to be added from, considering all the guys are more than likely still going to be keeping. So I don't know the answer to that unless someone who's been an everyday guy goes. Like, do you think they really trade like an Andy Pages? I don't know. I don't think they traded Edmund. I don't think that they obviously trade, Muncie, Mookie, Freddie, any of those guys. So who's the everyday guy that's going to go to make room for someone new, right? And the only one that's probably going to go to make room is Conforto, and it's probably going to be Kwan or someone like him. And you bring back Kike, you bring back Miggy, and you really don't have a lot of spots. I think they do need to strengthen their bench. I would much rather have someone on the bench than Alex Call. I would like someone better than him. Having someone on your bench like Kike for the regular season, he plays multiple positions, but he's not that great during the regular season. You have him for October, so I'm all for that. But they definitely need to strengthen their bench, because if it's Call, if it's Kike, if it's Kim, like, I need a little bit more on my bench, and Rojas, I need more on my bench than that. A whole 40 minutes and no horn. I'm shocked. I did the horn when the show started, but for you, I'll do the horn. I did the horn right when the show started, but you're right. I haven't been doing so many lives, man. I forget that I even got the mixer here right now. That tail home run in Philly game 1 changed the playoff picture for us. I was screaming like crazy. Yeah, that one. I was actually at the hospital watching updates on my phone. Shout out to Joe. Joe was so huge for me in the first couple of rounds of the playoffs. He was literally like texting me updates, like inning by inning, literally a bat by a bat, because I was, basically living in the hospital for the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. So shout out to my guy Joe, man, because he really was one of the guys was the guy I talked to the most this postseason, and he was over there while in this game himself, taking time to give me updates while I was stuck in a hospital. You know what I mean? So shout out to Joe for that, because I literally was getting at bat by at bat updates, especially when it got into the 9th inning and they brought in Roki and all that, man. He was giving me like pitch by pitch breakdown. It was dope. It was dope. So shout out to Joe for that, man. But yeah, that tail bomb was crazy. Kim, the useless one, is being fired. What? No, Kim is solid, man. Kim is a rookie, man. We fleeced St. Louis with Tommy Edmond. We sure did. Donovan for a package including Bobby Miller would be perfect. Yeah. And I think maybe an Alex Freeland or something like that. I think that's something that could absolutely happen for sure. Lakers Dodgers for life. What's up, my brother? Appreciate you, my guy. I hope you and the family are doing well. Do you see us going after Edwin Diaz? That's a tough one for me. I don't think they outspend the Mets for him. I think he's getting what, $20 million a year. You know, he already was the first $100 million closer, right? And then Hader wanted a higher AAV than him and got that from Houston. I'm gonna go on a limb and say they don't pay him $20 million a year. So I think the Mets offer somewhere between 15 and 18 and probably bring him back. They've already proven that they spend to keep him in the past. So I don't know. I would say we have a better shot at like a Fairbanks or a Williams than we do an Edwin Diaz. But it's on the table, I guess, until the Mets sign him. But I think that might be more than what the Dodgers would want to go to. But we'll have to wait and see. But that's a name to keep an eye on for sure. The longer he goes without signing with the Mets, it becomes more possible. Ozzy says, will the Dodgers go after the Japanese starter that got posted that was the top pitcher this past season? I don't know how crazy the Dodgers are going to go after pitchers this year. You got to remember, like, they're going to be adding Roki to the rotation. They're going to be adding River Ryan. They're going to be adding Gavin Stone. I think the starters are set. I think they're set. Stephanie Kent Curry, what's going on, my guy? Looks like Dodgers are most likely getting a high leverage right-handed arm this offseason. Yeah, that I believe. That's what I think. Don't forget Hurt. He is a high leverage arm. I think Kyle Hurt got Kyle Hurt. Wait, no, that wasn't him. That was Grove they let walk, right? Am I tripping? It was Grove they let walk. Yeah. So Kyle Hurt, yeah. Kyle Hurt's another one. Teo giveth and Teo taketh during the playoffs, for sure. For sure. Forgot to say hi in the last message, but hi. Hello to you as well. Wish Kwan could play right field. Being forced to keep Teo and right seems counterintuitive. Look, again, I'm telling you guys, I know your eyes tell you different, and I know you really believe it, but I'm telling you, as crazy as it sounds, Teo was worse in left field in 2024 than he was in right in 2025. He had a couple moments that were more magnified. I get it. But I'm telling you, for the entire season, he was better in right in 2025 than he was in left in 2024. And he started 60 games in right in 2024, and he didn't have a single error in 60 games in right field in 2024. He was better in right in 2024, and he was better in right in 2025. I don't envision him going back to left. I just don't. The only starter the Dodgers will go after is Skubal. That's the only one that they would clear room for. Or Skeens. If Skeens hits the market, I think the Dodgers would put him towards the front of the list. I believe they would empty the clip for him. Now I think Dodgers are waiting till next year when the next Japanese players come in. Sato, who is at third base, and Sayaki, whose fastball is just, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think the Dodgers are going to be crazy in the Japan market this year. If they wanted them, they'd get them, but I don't think they're going to. Teo in right field low-key saved us in Game 3 of the World Series. That relay was, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Teo has moments. We know this, but I'm telling you, every defensive metric grades him better in right than left. It just does. It just does. I've debated this numerous times. People just don't get it because they latch on to narratives. But Teo is worse in left than he is in right, and that is simply a fact. Even though as hard as it is to believe, Teo is worse in left. What can the Dodgers do to offset the swing and miss next year, especially in October? Probably not, because they want the slug. And if you want to win, you got to slug. And unfortunately, when you want to slug, you're going to strike out. The Dodgers got to the postseason because of slug. They won every round because of slug. And they won Game 7 because of slug. And the Dodgers are fine with the swing and miss as long as the slug comes. And it did. And they won. So I'd expect to see a lot more of that next year. If the Tigers trade Skubal, what would it take? Dalton Rushing, River Ryan, and another prospect? It would probably take five guys, probably 3 really top-tier prospects and some major league ready guys to go, is what I would expect. That's what I would expect. It would be very expensive to get him, and he might just be a rental. So that makes it very, very difficult to go after a guy like Tarik Skubal without an extension. And I don't know if an extension gets done prior to the offseason. So it's difficult. It's difficult. So I don't, as of right now, and I may be wrong at everything I'm talking about right now. I'm only going off what I think right now with the information that I have. If the information I have changes, then my opinion will change and my thoughts or predictions, whatever you want to call it, will change as well. But as of right now, with everything I've been told and I'm hearing, I don't think the Dodgers are going to be at the front of the line for him. I think the Yankees, I think the Mariners, the Red Sox, I think those types of teams. When it comes to arms, especially starting arms or bullpen guys, you can never really count out the Padres because they are known to just completely empty their farm system for rentals. And this is something that could happen. I'm just saying it could happen. Let's see what San Francisco does with Posey over there running them now. I could see them going really hard after Tucker. I could see them trying to get in on Skubal. I could see these things with San Francisco. I think they're going to be very, very aggressive. I don't see the Dodgers offloading a lot of money for relievers this year. I mean, we literally use all starters in Game 7, only because we did not have the bullpen, right? We didn't have a healthy or effective Tanner Scott. We didn't have Alex Vesia. We didn't have Kopech. We didn't have Gratterall. We didn't have Phillips. There's a lot of we didn't have an effective Kirby Yates. Like the Dodgers pushed all the right buttons last offseason. It just didn't work. Like all those buttons they pushed were great. They were tremendous signings at the time. They just didn't work. And I think that they believe a lot of those guys can perform again next year. I really believe. I think a lot of guys are going to bounce back. We're going to get guys back healthy, and I think we'll see what it looks like. I can see Giants going after. I can see the Giants having a big offseason. A big offseason. They've got money. Just they haven't gotten guys to commit. Excuse me. They have not gotten guys to commit to long-term deals. They got like Chapman. They got they traded for Chapman and extended him. They got Adames. They signed him. It's been really hard for them to get guys via free agency. They traded for Devers. We'll see who they can get this year, but I can see a Kyle Tucker. I can see a lot of other guys potentially going there if guys decide to sign there. So make sure to drop a like on the video if you guys have not done so already. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. You can also become a member to the channel. But at the end of the day, all you got to do is drop a like on the video. It helps the channel out. And like I said, a like is free. So help me out over here, man. Drop a like on the video. A lower priced realistic reliever that would be great is Iglesias. Yeah, I mean, I can see the Dodgers going after a lot of guys that haven't been mentioned. Kind of an off the radar move. I can see the Dodgers doing a lot of that. But I think they will get a name. I think they'll get a name that people will be happy about and other teams will be upset about. But I also think the Dodgers always find that one guy that comes out of nowhere and just performs, right? I think there's guys that can move, they could trade while the value is high, or higher. I think someone like an Anthony Banda could potentially be moved. I think some of these guys who maybe the Dodgers will try to sell a little high on before they potentially fall off because bullpens are volatile. So open a spot for someone else. If Giants really get the things they need this offseason, I think they could really contend for second place in the West. I think so too. I agree. Lakers Dodgers for life said, are you concerned about us getting old? Because this year we struggled offensively all year. Yeah, I mean, I think they eventually need to chip away and get younger, and I think that's why they may have added Ward to the roster. I think that's why they probably brought up rushing last year as opposed to Barnes. I think you'll see some of their kids start to come up and play for the big league club. Like I said, you're going to get some young guys back on the pitching side. We'll see what they do when it comes to the bats and defense. But you got Pages is only going to be in his second full year, right? You've got Ward on the 40-man roster to see what they do with Freeland. You've got rushing, so you've got some guys in here that you can bring up. You've got Kim. You've got some guys that are younger that may get some more playing time next year. If the Dodgers win again, do you see a potential major push for a lockdown for a salary cap, even though the numbers have been amazing for baseball? That's it right there. I'm telling you, I'm going to continue to die on this hill until it happens. But I believe that a lot of these owners don't want the lockout as much as they want their fans to believe. The Dodgers, because of the Dodgers, the MLB is printing money. And I think that matters to more of the owners than winning does. So I think they want to appease their fans because their fans are throwing a fit about it. But I think they're fine with the current arrangement. I really do. And I think that they would rather give up the fight for a salary cap as long as it meant them not getting a salary floor. These owners do not want to spend a minimum, right? They don't want to spend a floor. So I think they will be willing to give up the fight on a cap if it means them not getting a floor. And I also don't see them missing on all the money they're going to be missing. I think the owners will blink before the players will in a lockout, because I think the owners are the ones leaving tremendous money on the table. Like it's money on the table. Like they're just leaving it. So I think the viewership and everything you saw, I think a lot of these owners are scared to really shut down when this is probably baseball's most profitable stretch as a business. It just makes no sense to do it. Just makes no sense to do it. Mookie and Freddie starting to look old. I think Mookie's fine. I think Mookie just had a really beat down season starting coming into the year and injuries and family loss. Mookie's 32 years old. Baseball guys play in their prime through 35. Like, I don't think Mookie's showing signs of age. I just think Mookie had a really bad luck year, and I look for him to really bounce back next year. Yep, I feel this year was Dodgers' down year, and they still won. Yeah, like I said, this was the year to get him. This was the year to get him, and no one could get him. You think this year, or they just pull off a trade someone no one is talking about since free agent market isn't really exciting? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they can pull off a trade for someone. I think some names will be like, okay, they were linked to, but I think there could be a surprise there. What are you expecting from Pages next year? He had a great season. In October, it was just terrible. Well, he hit a wall. Like I said, it was his first full year in baseball. In 2024, he came up. Like, he started spring training with them. He went back down. They brought him up later in the year, and he didn't play every day. This was his first everyday full season in Major League Baseball. And once teams adjust to you and the league adjusts to you, you have to start adjusting. So he's going through that. I like Pages. I think he has a bright future. He had 27 home runs, and he had a massive play in center field in Game 7 of a World Series. So I still believe in Andy Pages. I think he has a bright future for sure. The thing is, the prospects that actually play a position of need, like all the top outfield prospects we have, are 2 years away. So there was no immediate way to get younger right now. Not in the outfield, but there are an overall roster age we can get there. Rushing is young but blocked. Freeland, I guess, isn't totally blocked, especially if Muncy goes down or Edman needs time to heal. But our key prospects are ready to come out the oven yet. Yeah, they are. So the thing about Rushing is they need to get him more reps in the outfield, and I think he will be able to play some first base to give Freddie a break next year. So I think you'll have a chance to see Rushing get out there, or maybe Will Smith this season, because there's going to be a point, he's 30. There's going to be a point where they're going to have to get him off catcher, right? And at some point, he's probably going to play third or first. He played third in his career, coming up, but he can play first. Maybe this is the year where Will Smith maybe plays some innings in another position, maybe, and Rushing can catch and also play some first base. So I think the Dodgers will get creative there. We'll see what they do in spring training. If we start seeing Rushing playing a lot of outfield and playing a lot of first base, then that's a teller that's where they're going to try to get his reps. And if you see Will Smith play some third and play some first in spring training, then that tells you they're going to try to get him off from behind the plate a little bit this year. So we'll have to wait and see how they play that. What are the chances Tucker signs a shorter term deal, maybe even with deferred money involved? I don't know yet, because I got to see what the other team's offers are. I don't know what those are yet. Out of nowhere trade candidate, I see O'Neal Cruz. I can see the Dodgers just seeing the raw talent and say, put him in left field. Oh man, that'd be crazy. He was theirs to begin with, and they traded him. But the power that he has is crazy. But we'll see. Pittsburgh sees kind of done with him. That would be nuts. That would be that would be under the radar for sure. Robleski looked awesome this year, and no talks about his potential in his role next year. I mean, I think that, we expected, good things from him this year. And I think that, he looked great. And you got Kasperi is coming back too. So you got a lot of good young arms here for the Dodgers for a while to come here. So it's just, he's a lot of these guys are starters, right? Like Sheehan, Robleski, Kasperi, all these guys are former starters, right? So the Dodgers have so much depth in starting pitching, they got to put some of these guys in the bullpen just to get them playing time. Just to get them some innings. That's what they got to do. My voice is still trying to come back from Game 7. It just comes and goes and disappears. I want to know, what would you do? Sign Tucker, Belly, or trade for an outfield bat? Because this team does need an upgrade offensively. I would trade for Kwan. I think what Kwan brings, they don't need another 30 home run guy. They don't need another 100 RBI guy, right? I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great if they could get Tucker for like a 4-year, $160 million with deferred money and some opt-outs early. That'd be great, right? I just don't know if that's going to happen. But I would take Kwan over Bellinger. Showtime LA. What's going on, Showtime? Dodgers need to go in on Tucker. Can't let contract length get in the way of a three-peat. He's a perfect fit. yeah, I don't disagree with money getting away in the three-peat. The Dodgers have been very selective who they give north of 10 years to. Very, very selective. And they've only really given it to a couple guys. And it's not their move. It's not what they do. And they only gave it to Mookie and they only gave it to Yamamoto. And the Dodgers, I do not see them going over 10 years for Tucker. I just don't see it. That would go against everything that is their model. Normally, I wouldn't like keeping a blocked prospect young guy, but the catching position is different. I agree with the Dodgers being adamant on a Smith rushing unit. Yeah. Any planned meetups at the stadium this year? Yeah. I'm going to do a lot this year. I've had a very, very, very rough stretch family-wise this whole season. 2 loved ones in the hospital, very heavy workload, obviously covering the team. And it was a rough year, a very rough personal year. So I didn't get to get as many games as my goal was. And I'm hopeful I can next year, but I would love to do meetups. I would love to do meetups at the stadium. I would love to do meetups like at a bar and watch a game, maybe while they're on the road. I would love to do a lot of that this year. I'm looking to partner with some locations. They'll maybe let me do some live, streams there, maybe do some playback games there. I think that would be dope. My biggest thing, I have a lot of things planned for the channel. I have a lot of things planned for our community. It just, with my schedule being so crazy because of, family members in really, really bad situations health-wise and having to basically be at the hospital every day from like a 2-month span, it really, threw a wrench into things. And hopefully, God willing, they're home now, and hopefully, God willing, they stay home, and I can get a little bit of a life back and get back and kind of build this out to what I intended to when I started it. But it's been really hard to pull it all off. You know what I mean? So hopefully, God willing, next season, it's something starting with me going to pre-spring training because I was unable to get there last year. And hopefully I'll be able to pull that off for sure. But yeah, don't care. Definitely. And shout out to everyone who I did run into at the stadium this year. Shout out to everyone who came up to me at the parade. I'm still a very small time creator, right? So to be able to, get spotted now as much as I do when I'm out is kind of dope, right? For being a small content creator. I'm nowhere near the likes of a lot of these other guys when it comes to exposure and numbers, right? So getting noticed by people and people showing love and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And it's happening more and more now. And because of all the different socials, IG, TikTok, Facebook, obviously here on YouTube, Twitter, X. And it's crazy because every community is kind of different. But I get people who run up to me who know me from TikTok, people from IG, people from YouTube, and they're all different communities. And it's kind of dope. So I've been able to run into a lot of people this season, and especially at the parade. And just even out at the bar watching the game, running into people has been kind of dope. So yeah, definitely going to do some meetups. Ozzy says, you saw Bob Tatis is potentially getting traded. Do you see Padres really doing? Obviously, he wouldn't come here, but it's still crazy if Padres trade him. I can see him being a Yankee. I really, really can. I can see him being a Yankee or a Red Sox. Absolutely. And I think that they will look into trading him. I think the complete dive job that he did towards the second half of last year and the playoffs, if I'm them, I really consider it. I really do consider it. And if they do, I would put the Yankees and the Red Sox at the top of the list when it comes to Fernando Tatis Jr. Mike, what's going on, Mike Lopez? What's going on, sir? Hey, what's up? Glad to see you around. Bring back Cody and trade for Scooble. Appreciate you. Thank you. It's my hope to be around more. So, we'll see. Cody, I think, is a long shot, as is Scooble, but we'll see. Isn't Jose de Paula ETA 2026, right? It is, but not off the gate. I think that's later in the season. But yeah, it is. My thing is, if not Tucker, who is the guy they pay a big deal for or go hog wild for? Free agent class is very weak till Acuna in 2028 or Gunner in early 2029. Well, here's the thing. You don't necessarily have to only spend your money on signings, right? You could trade for someone making money, or you can trade for someone who's about to get paid and you extend them. So I think the Dodgers are going to look to get someone via trade. I think they will sign some people, but I think the trades is really where they're going to play out this off season. That's just what I believe. Yeah, the Paula ETA 2026. Yep. Showtime says, I hear you, but LA needs to get younger. Tucker is 28. I'd also like Boucher. Yeah, I would like either one of those guys. I just don't know if Toronto's going to let the Dodgers get him. I think they're going to throw more at him than they need to just to ensure he comes back. Tatis has a no trade clause. He'd have to approve it. Right. But I think he absolutely would to go to New York. I think he would. I think he would to go to New York, and I think he would to go to Boston. But I think there's a chance he does get moved. I think there is. I'll be watching your YouTube shorts and drop a comment occasionally. Hope things are better for you in 2026. Thank you, Don't Care. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it is a absolute blessing that those who have been in the hospital are now home. But man, it was a very, very taxing, and a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of sleeping in hospitals, and it was rough. It was very rough, and like I said, it was hard to get up and do shows or even think about doing shows. I was still trying to create because it was an escape and kind of a stress reliever. So all the shorts and the clips I was doing, I was still putting in work every single day. And quite honestly, like the work and the views and all the reach and everything I was getting off doing those is actually bigger than I get on the lives. But I love the interaction with you guys. It's just why I do the live, right? I probably get my least amount of exposure doing lives, but it's my greatest interaction with you guys, right? It's my funnest part of it is being able to go back and forth with you guys in the chat. But I probably had my biggest month ever on social media in the month of October, combined on all platforms, and I barely did any lives, right? So it was just all the coverage and the shorts and the clips and all that is what oh man, the Clippers lost again. So, I had a really good run in October, a whole lot of engagement, a whole lot of follows on multiple platforms, and just a lot of work done. Just hadn't been able to lock in for like an hour and a half at a time to do streams. But appreciate that. Don't care. Do you still consider Cardinals a bigger team than the Dodgers, even though they won most of the World Series championships 200 years ago? No, I don't. I mean, when it comes to championships, I think they got 11 and we got 9. I think we absolutely passed them. In the near future. It'll be crazy if Tatis gets traded. I know a lot of Padre fans would be really upset. I get it, but I think they're upset with him right now. I think they're disappointed in him. So that's why I think it's possible. Now's the time. What's going on, Ren? I think Kwan makes all the sense in the world. They need someone that can consistently get on base in front of Ohtani. He would be perfect. He'd be the perfect ninth hitter. Absolutely. And he's phenomenal defensively. Just phenomenal. Family first. Absolutely, Drip Show. Absolutely. Preller really gave Darvish that big deal. Preller's done a lot of sketchy moves, just going all in on winning, which I understand in the moment, but eventually those are going to come back to bite you, and they're going to. What's going on, Giovanni Ramirez? What's going on, man? Hi, Empire Jeff. Still celebrating our Dodgers win back-to-back champion. Me too. I'm gonna get the air horn for that. I've been celebrating nonstop. Like really, it's been nonstop. I wish I could have gone live with y'all that day, but like I said, it'd have been just a really, really rough stretch, and be able to have that moment with my family and spend the whole night with my family celebrating that. And it really was just about spending the time like with them. These are these moments, man, that you can't get back later, right? And there's a lot of people who are no longer with us when from 2017 when we got cheated, 2018. So 2024 and 2025 will serve as family memories for me and my family forever. And so that's why it was so special to me. And I didn't want to miss a single moment of that. I filmed like a one clip, and just being with my dad and my mom and my wife and my friends and loved ones, like when that happened. And I felt like this year a lot of people were. I felt like maybe it's because Game 7 was a Saturday. I don't know, but this is the most I've ever seen the city all in on a team collectively like this. Like literally everyone. When you see everyone's posts, I couldn't stop scrolling, looking at everyone's, because it's just like you saw just endless people in their living rooms with their families, with their loved ones, just non-stop. It just felt so special this year. And it's crazy, man. The Kobe Shaq Lakers, the Kobe and Powell Lakers, 2020 Dodgers. Like, I honestly feel that I don't think I've ever wanted a championship more than the one we just got with the Dodgers in 2025. Like, as crazy as that sounds, like I said, because I lived the Kobe Shaq days, like, I don't believe I wanted a championship more than I wanted this one. And we went from thinking it was gone to getting it, and it ended on a double play in a high-stress situation with my favorite player at shortstop, who everyone said couldn't play shortstop. And that's just so poetic justice there, that literally everyone that got given up on this year, from Dave to Pajes to Miggy to Mookie, like all these guys coming through and helping us deliver a championship to the city of Los Angeles, which is why I believe the Dodgers' greatest attribute is their culture and them never giving up on guys, no matter how mad we get as fans. Those guys step out there with belief that everyone in that clubhouse believes in them, and they delivered. All those guys that everyone gave up on delivered. And that's kind of what made it more special, is I spent a lot of time defending people. A lot of time defending people, talking trash, going back and forth, even with loved ones. And to see all those guys that I've been defending all year kind of stand tall in that moment, man, that was everything for me. That was absolutely everything for me. And then winning the way they did it, and me able to be with my family after all we had been through, like, that was just it for me, man. So this was the best championship of my life, man. It really was. See you later. He gave a lot of those dudes big contracts. Yeah, he gave a lot of AJ Preller for sure. Let's see. Where are you at on the reliever market, Jeff? I think stealing Diaz from the Mets would be great. He's a shutdown guy. I think that would be great. I just don't know if they're going to be able to steal him. I don't know. I literally don't know if they're going to be able to get him. But we'll see. You were making opposing fans mad. Oh, I'm good at that. I'm good at that. I had so many, like, look, I did a post. So I worked Game 7 of Seattle, Toronto, right? On playback. My first playback game in months. And a great game, right? And at the end of it, I go and I do a video congratulating the Blue Jays on making the World Series and saying how great that ALCS was, and congratulated them on making the World Series. And the amount of hate I got from Toronto fans for congratulating them on making the World Series, because according to those sensitive little furry Canadians, little fuzzy Canadians, they took offense to me congratulating them on making the World Series, because they took it as me saying that it's over for them. I mean, which it was, but I didn't mean it like that. I was really, whenever my team wins, or I give credit to the other team who lost, I give them their flowers and I go on to talk my team. Whenever a team has been eliminated, I talk about how great they've been. I do this little thing I got where I put the tombstone and the team and the season's death day and all that, right? And then I go into praising the team that won and wishing them the best of luck in the next series. Toronto people went all off on me for congratulating them on making the World Series, because they took it as like me telling them this is where it ends for you. Which I believe that, but that's not what that video was about, nor did I say that. So in all the DMs and all the hate and all the craziness I got, I'm talking about people telling me, I hope LA burns down again, and they're saying just horrific stuff. So then I was like, all right, if this is how you react to what I give you compliments, how are you going to react when I really come for you? So I did a couple of videos going at them, and it just went ballistic. I'm talking like 250K views per video every time I did it. And I had no idea those videos were going to go like that. And I really was only talking to those who were talking crazy to me, because I also started to get, when those videos went so big, I also got a lot of people at Toronto that were really kind, really friendly, followed me, still communicate with me to this day, interacting on all my posts. They've been great. But that post was for the horrific ones. And those videos went crazy to the point where I had Toronto, like local Toronto stations, like quoting me and challenging me, and Toronto radio stations. Like it got big. Like, and I was just like, I wasn't talking to all of Toronto, but then I did, right? Because I'm like, all right, because they just kept coming. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna tap your Maple Leafs here, make fun of you guys not winning since the 60s, and go all in on you. And I did. And they got so mad. And now they're all just mad because, like, now they're fighting this better team lost fight. And I'm just like, these guys are so sensitive, man. Like, I had no idea Canadians were this sensitive. I had no idea that they were this soft. I had no idea they were this soft. These little fuzzy, furious Canadians, man, have been going nuts, man. We're going nuts. Predator thinks he's Scarface. Which one comes first? Dodgers not winning championship or Lakers winning championship? Wait, I don't understand what you mean, young. I don't understand. Lakers Dodgers for life says all championships are special, but which one do you appreciate more, last year's or this year? This year. This year's the one. Just because, for selfish reasons, because like what I was going through, my family we needed 2024 too. We were going through some stuff then, but not like we were in 2025. But 2025 is the one for me. Is the absolute one for me. Don Kim says, burr, burr, burr. Does Kwan also have one of the strongest arms in outfield? He has a decent arm. Like I said, he's just a really, really good defender. Like not a lot of baseballs get by him. He gets to a lot of them. He's great with his range. His slides and his dives are great. And he has a strong enough arm. Ozzy says, who will go the hardest in free agency? Mets, Jays, Yankees, Phillies, Braves, or anyone else? I think Mets and Jays, Yankees, Philly, I don't anticipate spending a lot. Braves, I don't. Yankees, we'll see what they do. They need to. I would say Mets and Jays. The Clement fly ball lasted an eternity. You could hear a mouse fart in that stadium. Yeah, that was brutal. That was so brutal waiting for that, man. Brutal. That Miggy play at second was just, oh, my God. I still get nervous when I watch that play. And Miggy can't watch it. He said he cannot watch that play because of the anxiety. In the fifth inning, I took 4 cups of NyQuil because I thought we were cooked and I was ready to just go to sleep. That stuff did not work since I was so pumped and started calling back. Yeah, NyQuil don't do nothing to me. I could drink like half a bottle of NyQuil and like go to work. Like it don't even bother me. That does not knock me out. I hope Mookie goes back to drive line and puts on weight and gets his power back. Yeah. So just without saying too much, I've got a little insight on that, and I would expect a monster season for Mookie. I think Mookie's picking up some things in training in 2025 that he hasn't done since 2023, and I think that's going to be very good for Mookie Betts and Dodger fans. I really do. What's going on, Daniel Berry? What's going on, man? He said, happy Monday. Absolutely. Go Dodgers. Absolutely. 2 outs from the World Series and you blow it to Miguel Rojas. I understand why Canadians are crashing out right now. Hey, look, like Miggy has moments in him. And I had said all year he's going to win us a playoff game. I had no idea that it was going to be really the bat and the glove in the same game after the game where that Scoopy did in game 6, man. It was crazy. But yeah, I get what you're coming from, though. It's funny how they think that IKF slide to home was safe. Like it is close, but you can see he's definitely out. He is out. Yeah. They thought that was out. They cry about the wall situation. They cry. Look, you had runners on second and third, but nobody out in game 6, lost, didn't get a run in. You had multiple times with runners left in scoring position in game 7, couldn't get him in. The Dodgers made all the plays on the stretch and they didn't. They just didn't. And they lost. Yeah, Jays fans still saying IKF was safe, but it was confirmed by umpire review with all their high-tech analysis. Yeah, he was out. Close. And Will Smith almost blew it by taking his foot off the plate, but they got him. Jays fans are bipolar as fuck. Oh, they are. I just said as fuck. I don't even curse on my show. They blew a 3-2 series lead at home. Yep, they lost 3 or 4 games at home in the World Series. They lost 5 out of 8 games from the ALCS to the World Series. They lost 5 of their 8 home games in the 2 most important rounds of playoffs. They're not the better team. The Vestia situation is horrible. Respect to the Blue Jays that wore 51 in their hats. Yeah, facts. And I think a lot of people don't really speak on how much that affected the Dodger team. It really did, because they knew what happened and they had to carry that. And I think that was a big like tug on their emotions, man. I really think it was, because that Dodger team is a family. What's going on, Serge? What's up, baby? How you doing, man? I appreciate you, brother. This Jeff got trouble. Yeah, man. Been going through a lot of search. I'm trying to get back up here. Please like, subscribe. Absolutely. Love you, brother. Hope you and the family are well. They're still mad about Justin Dean play. Yeah, but it's the rule, man. It's the rule of their park. I barely remember this channel. So do I. The scary thing, though, is that if IKF was one step further from third base, they would have won the World Series. Crazy to think about it. Yeah, for real. Well, yes and no. If Miggy doesn't kind of stumble there, that extra step doesn't matter either, right? So you can do that, coulda, woulda, shoulda, but it doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, the Dean play. Wow, so many iconic moments. The Dean play, the Kike play, the Miggy scoop, the Miggy play in game 7, the Miggy bomb in game 7, the Pajes play. I mean, just the Mookie double play. You know what? Air horn for Mookie. I don't think people realize how non-routine that double play was. Mookie gets the ball. There's a broken bat flying as well. With the ball going towards the bag, you got a runner coming at you. You're taking it by yourself. You touch the bag, and you go to the side and throw a cross, a dart to Freddie. That play by Mookie was incredible. That was nowhere near a routine double play. He made it look easy, but it was nowhere near routine. Nowhere near routine. I like your sources. My sources are pretty solid. My sources are pretty solid. And what I know versus what I actually talk about are few and far between. Like, I barely talk about anything that I know. I only talk about stuff that I've kind of picked up myself, and I go and ask them and they confirm. Like, it's kind of my own digging. They don't like just pick up the phone and call me. So, oh, guess what I just heard? That doesn't happen, right? I call, I ask them questions. They get back to me on some of it. Some of it they can't talk about. Some of it they're working on. And if I give them an idea, a lot of times we're like, that's a good one. Let me run down. Let me check that. There's times where I've stumbled upon something, bring it to their attention. They dig into it and get intel, and they only got to that because I brought it up. Like, you know what I mean? So it's a two-way street. And because I've never once relayed information from them that they gave me, I'll keep getting that intel. But I would say I probably only speak on about 5% of what I hear for all the right reasons. Four-seater 777. What's going on, man? The Blue Jays player Schneider said that the best team won. He was classy. The Canadian broadcast team tried to bait him. He didn't budge. Shout out to him. Yeah, the Canadian broadcast team was throwing a damn tantrum and throwing a fit. Like, get it together, man. Get it together. Who are you people? Says Search. Let's see. Ozzy says Artie Moreno has impossible trying to get younger generation to the Angels in time where the Dodgers are a dynasty. Yeah, absolutely. What's going on, Joe? Blue Jays fans acting like they win regularly. Don't be surprised if they miss the playoffs. You know what? I was actually talking to someone that I was going to bet, and I'm thinking about taking this bet that they may not even make the playoffs next year. So I agree with you, Joe. I agree with you. He said, "Shut up, Joe." Let's see. People talking to everybody. My business. Rand says he's the Lewis Robert. Oh, has the Lewis Robert boat sailed? He's still an elite center fielder with the high ceiling potential, right? You know, he's another guy the Dodgers have been linked to, so I don't know if it's sailed, but I haven't heard his name since the trade deadline. Like, nothing, not a peep. I'll follow up on that, though, but I haven't heard anything as far as them really be in on him, and maybe they are, and I just haven't heard of it, but I haven't heard anything about them being reconnecting on that. But the White Sox are a team that the Dodgers have a direct line to, that they speak to regularly, that they have a very good relationship with, so there could be talks and just nothing coming out. Dean at the parade was doing the hands up motion. Dodger legend. Yeah, he was trolling with Blake Snell. Blake Snell was lit for the parade. It was great. Mookie literally made that double play look easy, man. It was so smooth. That was anything but routine, y'all. I'm telling you. I know folks have nostalgia for the 2016 World Series, but 2025 was clearly the best one ever. To me, it was. 16 was great. Being able to watch that with my grandpa and seeing the Cubs win that was great, but 2025 was the best World Series I've ever seen. 2016 was great. 2019 was great. 2022 was great. And not the ending, but I'm saying there's been a lot of great World Series. But 2025, man, was just it. At first, I thought the Kirk groundout was not going to reach Betts on the dirt. When I saw the bat break, I was like, oh, man. But when Yoshi got him 0-2, I was like, oh, this guy's a contact guy. He's contacted the baseball so much. He killed us so early in the season, and he's a guy that can get the ball in the air and drive in the tying run. And I'm not going to lie, when Vlade hit that ball, I thought he got it. Like, I thought he crushed it, but he didn't. So many moments I thought we lost. Hey, Machado owes a fan 3 contracts now. That's funny. No one called Ohtani a GOAT when he played for the Angels. I don't know if that's true. Shout out to Jeff's dad at the parade celebration. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, I got to take pops. I got to get this video up. I got a video. We went to a bar after the parade, and I took out my camera to film a short and to film a clip. And when I took out the camera, I set it down because I was going to get my my wireless mic, and I put it down. And when I put it down, it started recording. And I just started talking baseball with my dad, and I noticed the camera was recording. I was like, I'm just going to let this go. So I got like 20 minutes of me and my dad talking baseball, and the camera's only facing my pops. And I got to get that posted on the channel. It was great. Just talking ball with my pops. And it was right after we left the parade. His thoughts on the World Series, his thoughts on his current views of Dave Roberts, because he's a guy that doesn't really like Dave. And we go back and forth on that so much. And talking about, Kershaw and all the different things. And it's just 20 minutes of a father and son who come from a diehard baseball family, just talking baseball in an unintended recording. The part of me, I was just going to keep that for myself, but I think I should put that up. I think I should put that up. I love my pops, and my pops knows ball. And it would be great to get that up here on the channel. I would love to do it. Yeah, Blue Jays going to bet that Clement and Jimenez will do that. They did in the playoffs. Yeah. And betting George Springer continues his career year. The most of his Jays career has been mediocre. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think any of that's going to keep up. Those guys were playing at levels that you're probably not going to see again. I truly believe that too. Serge, appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Yeah, my pops is my best friend, man. So being able to have my pops out there at the games, took in a lot of games this year. Took him to the parade. I'm like, get your ass up. We're going to a parade. And I took him to the stadium. It was great. And it was really, 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 really special to spend that with my pops. Awesome, bro. My dad passed away. Those are the great times. Yeah. I mean, a lot of my friends have lost their parents, right? And that's why I'm so blessed. And it's why I spend so much time with them and watching Dodger games and going to Dodger games and going out to eat with them so much and taking them places and including them in things and just being able to spend time with them. I'm a very, very family-oriented man, and I spent a lot of time with my family, and being able to take my pops to that parade was just life, man. Do you think the World Baseball Classic will affect the Dodgers since so many players will participate? I feel like it can hurt a team that's already old and plays a lot of games. Well, it's our spring training, so they can treat it like spring training. They could take a lot of things easier on them on spring training, so we'll see. We'll see. The playoffs had so many storylines, from Brewers taunting Cubs to Phillies World Series window quickly closing to Blue Jays and Dodgers. Somebody tell Hollywood to make a movie. Yeah, this was probably Blue Jays lose. Yeah, it was probably, like I said, probably the best World Series from a perspective of having all eyes on it. There's been a lot of great World Series that a lot of people didn't watch because they didn't have the heavy hitters, right? But this was probably the most watched, most entertaining, most locked in from even casual fans. And my take on seeing everyone in their living room, this felt like a Super Bowl. It felt like a Super Bowl because so many people had parties and barbecues and people over their houses and family and friends and co-workers. It was just because the Dodgers were 1 on the road, 2, it was a Saturday night, 3, it was Game 7. It was so many elements that made this so big. And so many people got to enjoy that moment. And so many people will be talking about that moment for the rest of their lives, myself included. Awesome, bro. My dad passed away. Just those are the great times. Yeah, rest in peace to your pop, Search, man. I'm sorry about that. Let's see. Okay, I got to all of them. So, appreciate y'all tonight, man. I know it's been a while since I pulled up. I will pull up more. I'm kind of getting my life back together here from a scheduling perspective. The Lakers are going now. They won again tonight, but they're 9-3. They're 12 games into the series. I've yet to do one single Laker video, but I will. I'll be getting back to basketball soon, and we'll be able to pick that up where we left off last year. I put basketball completely aside, and I just went all in on baseball. Baseball has been incredible. And baseball, covering baseball, and this Dodger team changed my life for the last couple of years with everything we were going through. So I will forever be grateful to the Dodgers for what they did for me and my family, just giving us what we needed in a time of need emotionally. And that's why it was so special, man. So shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. And Stephanie Kant-Kerr, I've not seen it yet. It's in my watch list. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to get to it this week for sure. But y'all have a great one, man. Enjoy the rest of your night. You have a safe rest of your appreciate you. It's good to see you guys. Good to see you guys too. You guys have a good rest of your Monday. You have a great Tuesday. Maybe I'll be up here tomorrow night and to cover more Dodgers and get back into slowly getting back to covering the NBA and basketball. So I love y'all. What a run this Dodger team had these playoffs. I'm sorry I wasn't here to enjoy it with you guys because of everything going on, but hopefully we got another year of this, and we're going to enjoy this and have a lot of fun. So y'all be safe. Enjoy the rest of your night. Search, I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being here. And Lucky says, what's up? He's over here looking at me like, where's my cookie? Where's my treat? Like, you're going too long on this show. Catch y'all on the next one. Love y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.